Thermal cameras are great for squatching. Let's see what they're about.
Welcome to Action Hound Media, the site and channel all about action. Life's boring, get some more action into your life. All right, this week we are going to talk about thermal cameras. If you're not familiar with thermal cameras, they're the best piece of equipment you could own if you do a lot of Sasquatch research. Thermal cameras, also known as infrared cameras, detect infrared radiation, heat, and convert it into an image that can be visualized. So in other words, if it's nighttime and there's a creature in the woods, which is warm-blooded, of course, which most primates are, you will see the heat signature, and a thermal camera will be able to capture it in the middle of the dark. How thermal cameras work? So the thermal cameras detect the heat signatures by using infrared sensors that capture the radiation and creates an image. So the image is called a thermogram, where different temperatures are represented by varying colors. Some of the applications of a thermal camera. Of course, the fire department uses thermal cameras to detect heat and find out where the heat sources are. It's also used for building inspections that help to detect heat loss in the buildings due to poor insulation, air leaks, moisture. Thermal cameras can also identify electrical hotspots or overheated equipment. Thermal cameras also used for security and surveillance, can see in complete darkness, making them very useful for security purposes. They can detect intruders based on their body heat, even when there is no visible light. So in the complete darkness, you'll be able to see somebody walking on your property. It's also used for search and rescue. They're used to find people in low visibility environments, such as smoke-filled areas or at night by detecting their body heats. And of course, thermal cameras are for detecting wildlife in the dark, Sasquatches. All right, so what type of thermal cameras are there? So there's handheld thermal cameras. These are portable and commonly used for inspections or field work. They typically offer a good balance of performance and cost. Usually thermal cameras are monoculars, like a telescope, but they also come in binoculars, but they're usually way more expensive for the binoculars, and they basically do the same thing. There's also fixed thermal cameras that are mounted in fixed locations, like for security and surveillance or industrial applications. And there's also thermal camera drones, which is also pretty cool. It's for aerial surveillance, search and rescue, land surveys. Also, you can use the drones to pinpoint wildlife in the forest. I actually know a guy who has like a $35,000 drone that he can use to pinpoint the wildlife in the forest, and I've seen him use it. If I really find a good hotspot, I'm going to call him in and get him to use that piece of equipment. So there's key features to the thermal cameras. The resolution is big. The higher the resolution, the clearer the images. I'm going to show you some of my cameras and compare their resolution functions. There's also like a temperature range. Thermal cameras have different operating ranges, some capable of detecting very high or very low temperatures. Thermal sensitivity, that's the ability of the camera to distinguish small differences in temperatures. The lower the thermal sensitivity, the better the camera is at detecting subtle temperature changes. Field of view and distance, that's also components of the device. The wider the field of view, the more area the camera can scan over at once. And the frame rate's important. A higher frame rate allows smoother video capture, which is important for dynamic scenes or monitoring machinery in operation. And Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity. That's big because, somebody could be using your therm and you could be watching on an iPad with that kind of connectivity. So more people could be involved when you are researching in the dark with a bunch of people. Choosing the right thermal camera. First, what are you using it for? Consider what you need the camera for, whether it's building inspection, security, medical diagnostics. Some applications need high resolution cameras, while others can work with lower resolution. Temperature range. Select the camera that suits the temperature range of the environment you're monitoring. Image quality is important. You want a camera with a good balance of resolution and thermal sensitivity to detect subtle temperature differences. And budget's a big one. Entry-level cameras can start as low as a few $100, while professional models can run into the thousands, and we're going to get into that. Okay, so here is the AGM TM10-256. This one costs about $500. This is a low resolution type of thermal camera. and it's also a cheaper model. The range is 500 yards. Zoom is 1 to 8 times zoom that you could use with this camera. The weight is 9.2 ounces, so it's pretty light. So it's cheap, but it's actually light and easy to carry. It does have Wi-Fi function, so somebody can have an iPad and they can see images while you're actually looking through the monocular. And the battery life for this is 8 hours. My other camera is the AGM Fusion. This one is a TM35-640. This one costs from $2,000 to $2,500. All right, so this is a more expensive model. I would suggest you get something more like this than the last one I was showing you. The resolution is 640 x 512. The range is 1,750 yards, so you could look way past the other one, and you could look deeper into the forest. It has 1 to 8 times zoom. The good thing about this one is that it is higher resolution. It is a little heavier too. So I recently bought the Pulsar Telos XL50. Now this is like the top model you could possibly get with thermals. All right, it comes in a case. You can check out the case that it comes with. Here it is. This thing runs $4,000 to $4.5 grand to have this one, but it's probably the best thermal in the market right now, so you got to pay big bucks for this one. The resolution is 1024 by 768, so this is a high resolution device. You'll see a blob squatch on the other two, but this one will give you a good picture of what you're supposedly looking at in the woods. It has 1 to 8 times zoom. The weight is about 1.5 pounds, so it's a little heavier. It captures both pictures and videos. It's waterproof, and it also has Wi-Fi functionality. So again, somebody else could be looking at an iPad at the images that you're capturing with it when you're out in the field. The big thing also is that the range on this is 2,300 yards, so you can look farther with clearer pictures and much more detail in whatever you're looking at.